two. All right, this is exciting stuff. Emma, I know we've talked about doing this for a bit. We had to reschedule a few times, but I'm really excited to do this. I love doing kind of case study interviews because I can talk all day about you and other clients and what you guys go through and your results, but it's so much more powerful to hear it from you, like in your experience, because you lived through it. I just kind of help steer the ship, but you're the one trudging through. I know now we're at just past our initial year together. And I know it hasn't been the easiest year, but the results you've been getting have been incredible to see. So I want you to come on and share with everyone what you went through, not when you went through, but the results you got as well. But just to kind of kick us off, like if you want to do like a brief kind of introduction, just tell people who you are, and then we can dig into the last year.
Yep. So I'm Emma. I've been working with John for just over a year now, and I will say it's been life-changing. Like as John said, it's been a difficult year, and there's been lots of ups and downs. But ultimately, I feel like I've come through it, and I've just kept going. I haven't given up, despite wanting to many times. And yeah, I feel really good now, and I'm feeling stronger every day. So I'm really happy that I took the leap and did this and followed through.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always humbled when people say things like that. I appreciate you saying that. As a coach, sometimes it's like we see the results, we see people putting the work in, getting the results, and we hear things like that. It's life changing, and it's kind of hard to fathom sometimes. But you put the work in, and I think it's more. I love to celebrate you and what you did. But let's go back. Oh, I guess over a year now. Before you even reached out, kind of where were you at? What were you struggling with? And then let's take everyone through a journey of kind of what brought you to me.
So I had my daughter, my first child, in June of 2021. Um, and I did gain a lot of weight during pregnancy, which is expected. But even before that, I had previously kind of done a fitness like crash course on how to lose weight. And I lost some weight. And then I gained it all back because it wasn't fitting in with my lifestyle. I wasn't able to keep it consistent. So I gained all of the weight back that I'd lost and then more. And that was even before I had my daughter. So after I had her, I was at my heaviest weight I've ever been. I've always struggled with my weight. I've never been skinny or anything like that, as you would say, but I was unhealthy. Like I couldn't get down on the floor with her to play. I was in pain all the time from my knees. I already have bad knees, so carrying around the extra weight wasn't good at all. Um, and my friend and coworker Tiffany was actually telling me about you, John. And that's kind of how I got introduced to the idea of like maybe hiring a coach again. But it wasn't until late October of that year that I actually did contact you. But I was at a very low point. I felt like depressed. I was having postpartum depression and anxiety. I felt really horrible in my own skin. And I knew I had to change that, not only for myself, but for my daughter, like seeing her mom when she's growing up and seeing me like in that mindset and in that frame of I just couldn't get past that. It was more for her at that point. And now I feel like it's just for both of us.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. And I've said it before. I'll say it continuously. Mothers have it so hard. Like you guys go through body changes, emotions are all over the place, hormones all
Mhm.
like postpartum is no small feat. Like it's a lot. So the fact that you were able to look at the bigger picture, because sometimes it's tough, I think, to zoom out and look at right now we're in the mud, let's say, but let's zoom out and like, what is this going to turn into, or what could this turn into, both from a positive or a negative, like a year from now, 2 years from now, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
What were you skeptical, if anything, before kind of investing in the program with me?
I just thought that it wasn't going to work and that I wasn't going to be able to do it. That was my biggest thing, and like making the time to do it. So, like, as a new mom, we're always tired. There's always things to do. So I'm like, how am I going to fit this into my schedule? I'm like trying to talk myself out of it almost.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I actually had the conversation with you on video chat that I actually just said, no, I'm going to go for it. I needed like that extra push, which I've always needed. I always need the accountability and the motivation push.
Hmm. Yeah, understandably so. Yeah, and it's tough. So what you're saying is more, it was like a almost like a belief in yourself that you weren't, you just like, well, I don't know if I can do it, or was it like, well,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do any program.
It was honestly like just me. I was holding myself back. It's not that I didn't necessarily know I could do it because I've done it before, but it was just like, well, I'm at such a bad point in my life and my health right now that I just don't know if I can push through it. I don't know if I can be successful. And there was all like just the negative talk going through my mind, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what do you think? You know, I know you talked with Tiffany. I know we had our call, but was there a catalyst or something that was like, okay, now's the time? Like what held you back from taking action a little bit sooner?
I think, well, I had to think about like financial, obviously, that's a big part. But honestly, when it comes down to it, I knew I had to invest in myself to have like the bigger picture, like looking forward going into this year, what is it going to look like? Am I going to be healthier for my daughter? The answer is yes. If I stay committed to the program and I put the effort in, I can do it. It was like a complete switch in my brain. Like, what do I have to lose at this point?
Hmm.
I either am successful or I don't put any effort in and I stay the exact same and I feel the exact same way. Um, so I talked myself back into it and I was like, no, I'm going to do this and I'm going to give it my all and go from there.
Yeah, almost like a leap of faith in a way, which a lot of the
Yeah.
times it is, right? Because like you and I, we didn't know each other before our first call, and a lot of the times that happens is like you're in a space where you're like, I know I need to change, but it's almost like, well, where do I even go, right? I know Tiffany recommended me to you, but it's again, I was a stranger, so
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is you trusted yourself first. That's a big one. So like, you know what, I need to change. Let's put the effort in, and then you trusted me, which I'm always eternally grateful for because it's a lot. Like you kind of put your health in my hands in a way over the last year, um, and I'd love to hear a couple more things about the program in your year. But getting started, how like I know you said you had a big mindset shift to start initially. How was that feeling in getting started in the program? Maybe first 2 weeks, which I often call the honeymoon phase because it's exciting and new, but it's also somewhat scary. But walk me through kind of the, if you can remember the first few weeks of us working together.
Yeah, I remember. I actually felt really good. Like after I'd actually made the commitment, I was like, well, now I'm investing in this and I need to do it. I need to make it work. And I've got that little piece of accountability. And I told you already when I planned on doing it, and it was during my daughter's first nap of the day.
Mm-hmm.
That gave me like about an hour to fit in a workout from home. Um, Honestly, the home workouts at first, I was skeptical about too because I'd never done them. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, how effective is it going to be? Um, but after my first few, I think I was at 3 a week at the time, and I did them, and I felt really good. And I saw changes very quickly at the start in regards to like body composition.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I started to feel like more motivated just from seeing those few changes and just even feeling better in myself that I'm actually being productive and I am doing this now. Um, but yeah, I got some weights going. I think I spoke to you about a bench. I didn't get a bench, but I just had a yoga mat and some weights,
Hmm.
and that's all I needed, and I got started.
Yeah, which is, and that's a big part of it, right? I think a lot of people, to no fault of their own, just assume that you have to have a gym membership or you have to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, and you have to go 5, 6 days a week. Like,
Hmm.
if that fits your lifestyle, then cool. Like, go for it. Like, that used to be me. I used to go to the gym 5 days a week, 2 hours at a time, because I had the time. I only had
Yeah.
one child. My business wasn't as busy. Like, life was different. But, you know, you took it of like, okay, I'm going to trust this process here. You know, you were skeptical about home workouts. You're like, well, how effective could they be? And I think just like anything, the more effort you put into it, the more you're going to get out. And I think that's been one of the biggest things I've seen with you is you've never given up on yourself as hard as things have been. You're always just like, you know what, I trust it. Let's work. And then you're trying to improve on that too, which is huge. Um,
Yeah.
the home workouts aside, what was your first like really big breakthrough from the coaching program?
I think just starting to feel more myself again. Like that was the biggest thing for me. It wasn't even necessarily like my weight and how I felt in my body. It was like the mental aspect of it. And just from suffering so badly after I had Kinsley, I started to just feel good. Like my brain had flipped a switch and I'm like, okay, I'm feeling more back to myself. I feel like I am going to be able to do this. Like it started to be more positive self-talk than the negative that I had right before.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that switch kind of happened, and I did my first set of progress pictures, and I actually like did the comparison on the app. I was like, whoa, okay, I am actually making changes. Like my body is changing. I can see it. Um, the scale to me now doesn't matter. But at the beginning, I had a huge issue with the scale as well, like super unhealthy relationship. I know you and I talked about that, and I didn't weigh myself. Like I think it was a month. I think I had to do a month at a time at the start because I had such a bad relationship with the scale.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so seeing the body composition part change at the start was really important to me, and it made me want to keep going.
Perfect. That's amazing. Yeah, the scale is such a mind fuck, for a lot of
Yeah,
people. I've had the same. Like, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't, my frustrations with it. At the end of the day, I think it's the more you give power to that number, the less you're going to enjoy the process and the less likely usually you're going to see the end result, right? Because if we're always focused on what that says, it dictates how we act after, it changes how we feel about ourselves versus like now where you're at, you, as you said, you don't care what the scale says. You completely changed your body composition. I think you've gone through, how many pairs of gold jeans have you surpassed over the past year? um
I
every I
think
think
I'm on my third or fourth.
Yeah, I was like, every few months I was getting a text about these were my gold jeans, but now they're not. Now I have another pair, which is, to me,
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing. Like, at the end of the day, nobody, like, we don't walk around with our weight like tattooed on our forehead. Nobody else knows. People, I think, are all too worried about themselves to worry about what
yeah.
other people weigh, but how we feel in our clothes in our everyday lives, that to me is the end all be all. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I know like a year ago I was wearing like baggy clothes all the time. I didn't want anything clinging to my body in any way, shape, or form. I hated jeans. And so when I did start to see a few changes, I was like, well, maybe I should try on a pair of old jeans that I would have worn before being pregnant and things like that. And when I put them on, they actually fit. So I was like, oh my goodness, okay, this is my next thing. And then I bought a pair of jeans that were too small, and I fit in those within like 2 or 3 months, I think. So yeah, like it became uh, mental thing. Like I am changing mentally and physically at this point, and as long as I keep pushing, I'm going to get to where I want to be. And I still tell myself that every day. I got to keep pushing. I'll get to where I want to be. And I'm a lot closer now. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And I love that you brought up that you've changed mentally as well as physically, because that's such a crucial part of it all. Like we need to make those mental changes. We need to look at, food a little bit differently. We need to look at our schedule and our time management, and just our habits. Like how do we show up? I think the Emma that you are today is different than the Emma that was over a year ago. I think you definitely agree with me there.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, with the scale, that was super unhealthy to start with, and now I weigh myself on the days I have to check in. But other than that, I don't even think about it. I always go by like how I feel in my body. And like when I look in the mirror, am I feeling comfortable in what I'm wearing? And most of the time I do. Like, of course, everybody has off days, but more so recently, I'm like, okay, I feel good in what I'm wearing. I feel good in my own head. And I do have a different relationship with food and the gym and like just the outlook on those things, because the gym terrified me before. I didn't want to go back necessarily, but I knew I wanted to push myself. And I had a little bit of more help when it came to like Kinsley and me being able to have that time to go to the gym. So I'm very, very thankful that I was able to do that, because I feel very confident when I go in to the gym now. I know what I'm doing. I just put my mind to it and get the workout done, and I feel revived after.
That's amazing. Yeah. Getting overcoming gym anxiety is another huge kind of win for you, I'd say. Right. And that's something a lot of people suffer with and just, they're in their heads about, and that's fine. To each their own. And you don't have to go in depth for this next question, but you can answer it as much as you want to. But, we talked about over the course of the year, there's been struggles. There's been some mud, as I like to put it, or speed bumps and barriers. Could you talk to how some of them, if you wanted to, if you're comfortable with that, and how you overcame or how you kept just plugging away at it and not kind of putting your hands up in the air and just quitting?
Yeah, there was a few times where I would say for the first 6 months at least, I just didn't have the consistency. And that was mainly because of me, but there was other stuff going on, like my daughter getting sick. I had COVID, then somebody else had COVID, and it was just hectic. And I felt like, oh my God, the gym is the last thing I want to worry about. I don't want to eat right now. I don't care about my protein.
Yeah.
Like it was just, I just wasn't in a good frame of mind at that point. And I wanted to give up. Like I just was done at that point. I was like, what's the point if I'm not being consistent, if I'm not eating right, if I'm not going to the gym, or if I'm not doing my workouts, what's the point? And I kind of had a conversation. I've spoken to you, I spoke to Tiffany about like how I was feeling. And ultimately, I just said to myself, like, okay, no, I got to just start fresh. And it was like a immediate, like, nope, okay, tomorrow I am going to do the workout at this time of the day. I'm going to get back on track. I'm going to track my meals. And I did that multiple times because things always come up in life, right? And my thing was always starting fresh. Like, just because I haven't gone to the gym in 2 weeks doesn't mean that everything is ruined and that I should just throw my hands up in the air. No, I just need to prioritize what I'm doing, get back on track, and keep going again. I probably did that like 6 or 7 times, seriously. And it wasn't until I would say this summer, like May or June, that I got back into like a really solid routine. And that's what I would say to everybody. Like, if you can have a solid routine when it comes to workouts and they're sustainable and you can stick to them, don't change anything. I go the same time every day now, and I just feel like it fits into my life. Um, and whenever I do have one of those weeks, like my daughter was just super, super sick last
Mm,
week, I don't get down about it. I say, okay, I'm going to eat the best I can. I'm going to prioritize my proteins. I may not work out this week, but that's okay. I can come back next week and I can start again. And it's more about your own personal mindset. Like, we get too into our own minds that we can't do it or we shouldn't because we haven't been in this amount of time. But realistically, that's you saying that you can also just say, no, I'm going to do it this week.
I love that. That's huge, Emma. Thank you for sharing that. And you bring up so many good points. Like when we're really in the thick of things, I think I'd argue we don't make rational decisions. We don't really look at it from logic anymore. We're making a decision based on how we feel in that moment, and
Yeah.
it's tough. And I think that's where a lot of people give up too early. Um, I've been in tough spots. You know, I've had really bad months. I've had really bad weeks, but I've also had stretches of really good months and really good weeks. Right? I think if you are able to, or if you find yourself having bad weeks or bad months, just know that you are capable of having the exact opposite. And I think what you did, Emma, was for any other hockey fans out there, that was the TSN turning point. Like in May or June, like you could have just said, you know what, John, like I can't, like this isn't for me, you know, sorry or whatever, and then you're done. But you did it. Like, and that's, to me, that's where, if you've ever seen those graphs where like the point of where people would give up, and then if they don't, they get even more results.
Yeah.
That was it right there. That was that moment of, if you quit there, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. You wouldn't have dropped
Exactly.
another 20 plus pounds from that point onward. Like, so I'm incredibly proud of you for pushing through. And I know we had a lot of accountability. You sent me a lot of like, hey, I'm at the gym now, just like that extra push to make sure we were getting
Every
that done.
day.
Yeah, which is fine. Like, as your coach, like if that's what I need to do to keep you feeling good. And it wasn't a forever thing, because you don't have to do that anymore because you're in the routine.
Yeah.
It was just getting that routine going. Hey, I'm at the gym. Hey, I just finished my workout. Those kind of things of like, okay, well, I have to text John that I'm getting this stuff done. And if I don't, like, he's going to know I'm not getting it done. And that
That's
little,
literally my mindset.
yeah,
That was exactly how I was thinking.
yeah, that extra 2 seconds to send that text message makes all the difference. Which has been huge to see, for sure. Do you know like specific, like what your specific results were from the program? I know you used those goal genes a lot, but could you speak more towards like any numbers if you remember them?
I don't remember inches or anything like that. I've been terrible at doing the inches, but I know for sure, obviously, like with the goal genes, I've gone down three pant sizes, maybe even more, because even the last pair of jeans that I got just last month, they're a little bit loose.
Wow.
So yeah, with the goal genes, it really helped me because I'm like seeing that result. I'm sorry. Sorry, my dogs are crazy.
That's fine. That's funny.
Go be cat Charlie May. Go. Sorry. Anyways,
Sorry.
yeah, so I've lost about 40 something pounds. Charlie. My gosh. It's because my dad's outside and they can see him.
That's okay.
Come here. Yeah, so I've lost about just over 40 pounds, 3 pant sizes. I don't know about inches. I should really do that to check in, but yeah, like the clothing is what gets me the most, because I can put on a pair of pants or a pair of shorts that I was wearing last year and they just fall off of me.
Amazing.
it hasn't been friendly to my wallet, I will say that, but
Fair enough.
it's worth it.
Yeah,
It's worth it.
absolutely. That's one of the benefits of the coaching program that I never discuss is you're gonna have to go buy a new wardrobe potentially.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've had to buy new leggings to work out in and stuff like that as well because my leggings were just getting way too big, and I'm like, they are going to fall down someday.
yeah, we don't want that happening at the gym.
No,
And with
exactly.
women, I think with women pants sizes, if it's the same as men, it's every size is 2 inches different than the size above or below. So
Yeah.
wouldn't that mean like 3 pant sizes is 6 inches or a little bit more?
Yeah, I would say that,
That's
yeah.
huge. Yeah, that's incredible.
It might honestly, like, I was between two sizes when I started too, so sometimes I was like even a size up, so like 3 or 4 sizes
That's
down now.
incredible. Yeah. Anyone who's followed me or knows Emma, like you've seen the progress photos. They're incredible. Like the results have just been amazing to see. Um, I love to ask who, in your experience and working with me and us working together for a year now, who would you recommend my coaching program for?
Basically anyone, honestly. I do feel like parents are the number one just because of how flexible the program is. Like there's not a lot of programs out there that are like yours. Um like I when things come up or our kids get sick or they're sent home from school for something, it's not the end of the world. Whereas I feel some programs put a lot of pressure on you to do this, meet this requirement, lose this much weight by this time, and like it just puts so much on
Mm-hmm.
you as a parent. And I can't deal with that. Like there's already enough pressure in our
Yeah,
lives as it is. Um, so yeah, I'm really glad that I had you because you are a parent as well and you do understand those things. And you never like although you pushed and you motivated and you held me accountable, I never felt like I should put the program above my daughter, you
mm-hmm.
know? Like you're always take care of her or take care of yourself and let's get back into it when you're ready.
Perfect. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, and it's true. And I think it's frustrating to hear that other programs are so rigid, right? And I always feel bad for especially moms because it's usually moms are usually the default parent. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
for any moms that are jumping into programs that aren't made for them or don't have the support or are super rigid, I always feel bad because I know what the end result is going to be, right? And it's not the mom's fault. It's that program
Yeah.
is not made for you. So I'm really glad that you feel that way. And I mean, I'd say us working together a year is a testament to your work, but also the flexibility of the program and things like that.
Yeah.
Is there?
And
No, go ahead.
there was also another thing, like, so the other programs that I've done two others before, years ago, and the one I was on was extremely strict. Like, I was on a severe calorie deficit. And yes, I did lose weight and my body composition did change, but I felt hungry and I did not feel healthy. And then as soon as those calories increase, you're back to square one basically. Um, so like I like the way you do it where it's a very slight deficit, but nothing major. I think I was on like 1,400 calories a day when I was on that
Wow.
program.
Yeah.
Um, so I did feel really like just not good. Did not feel healthy, and I've never ever experienced that with this program. Like being able to still eat things that you enjoy, but knowing that you do it in moderation and being taught that and given other options as alternatives and things like that. It's changes you. It changes your life,
That's
honestly.
huge.
I mean it when I say
That's
that.
huge. Thank you. Yeah, 1,400 calories for that just sounds terrible. Like for some people, that's okay, but it's a very small population of people. Depends on your body weight and
Yeah.
things like that. But yeah, that doesn't sound good. And that's what I want for people. I want you to be able to eat. I want you to be able to live. Like you have, especially moms, you have kids. You're gonna have kids who you want to take them out for ice cream. You want to go to dinner, or there's birthday parties. Like you're not a robot. Like you should enjoy life and still be able to change and get healthier and things like that. So I'm glad you took it and ran with it, and we kind of get away from that restrictiveness. I don't want to keep you too much longer, but is there anything else that you'd like to add, good or bad? I'm all ears.
No, honestly, I was thinking by the end of the 12 months, I would be like, oh no, I'm good now. Like I can do this on my own. But it's not that I don't feel like I can. It's just like having the extra support, even like with the other clients and like the group and things like that.